Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for coming back and joining me. I've looked recently at the first two steps of the four-step model that I use when helping businesses to think and develop into the future. And those were mission, thinking about why you exist as an organization, why your team is there, why you even do the work that you do. Then we looked at vision and a few aspects of vision where we're thinking about where do you want to go with that business. Understand, once you know why you're there, where is it that you want to go? What's the impact you want to have in the world with the business or the team that you work with or are part of? The third step of the model is strategy. Strategy is really important. Strategy, the word for strategy here, we're thinking about how. That's the operative word. How are we going to deliver the vision that we've already defined if we're working step by step through the model? But strategy is so important and it's often overlooked in business and in wider life as well. There's a famous saying, I think Japanese in origin, I don't know who to attribute it to. I think by default people tend to say it's Einstein or Churchill or Gandhi or someone like that. I'm not sure that it was. But the expression is this: vision without action is just a daydream. So if you have that long-term vision saying this is where we want to go in the future, this is what we want to build with this business or this organization, but then you don't have the strategy to deliver that, it's just a daydream. It will just remain a really nice plan on some whiteboards or pieces of paper that never gets delivered. A good way to think about this is particularly when we hear governments talking. Governments are very good at saying, this is what we'll do, this is where we're going to take the country, this is what we want to achieve. They're often very weak on the strategy. And if you hear those things, ask yourself, have they said how they are going to deliver those? When they're saying we're going to build a strong economy, we're going to make this country great, whatever it is that they're saying, how are they going to do that? And I'm not talking about the little tiny steps, the little tiny actions. That comes later, that's tactics. Strategy is the big chunks, the big projects, the big items that you need to think about and consistently deliver on in order to bring your vision to reality. A good way to think about this, and a great example that applies to an awful lot of businesses, an awful lot of organisations, particularly at the moment for very good reason, is net zero. Most organisations have a net zero target. In the NHS, they're saying we will be net zero by 2025. In other organisations, we will be net zero by 2030. And there's a few caveats around that, but most large organisations now have a target to reduce their net carbon emissions to zero. And that's a good thing. That's a direction we all need to be heading in. So that is a vision, or part of a vision, to say in 10 years' time, we will be net zero on emissions. That's a vision. That's really good. So how? How are you or your organization now going to do that? So your strategy will be the big projects, the things like we will implement an electric car scheme for all employees. We will implement solar panels on the roofs of all our facilities. We will reduce, reuse, recycle as much of the material as we can. We will capture rainwater and use that. All of these sorts of things that are the big chunk projects that lead towards your end goal. So the strategy really, when you draw it out, it's a milestone project plan. It's a swim lane plan. So each lane on the project, each line on the project plan at very high level is one of the big elements of your strategy. So that might be, let's use the net zero example again. We will use carbon neutral fuel in our processes. That is one big project. There's a lot of actions that need to happen to deliver that. That comes later. You might say we will ensure that our supply chain is also net zero by a given date. Again, that's another large project with a lot of actions and people that need to deliver on that. But that granular stuff comes later. It's the high level statements about how you will deliver on your long-term vision. And net zero is just one example. If you're saying we will be the number one business of our kind in our sector, okay, great, that's a huge aspiration. How? How will you do that? So that's the question that you need to ask yourself. Once you have your vision, once you understand your mission, once you have that 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year vision, however long you've set, the next question to ask is how are we going to get there? What are the big chunks of action, the large projects that we need to bring in place, the strategic hires, all that sort of stuff in order to bring this vision into reality. Again, I hope that helps. I hope it inspires. I hope it's useful to you. Please do follow the channel, like and subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, that really helps to boost it up a little bit. That helps me to do more of these. I'm putting these out there for nothing, just so that you have got access to this information that you can use with your teams, that you can share with your teams. Do please check the link to my website. Go across and check the website where there's examples of the other ways that I can help people, more inspiration there to help guide you and guide your businesses into the future. Thanks ever so much again for joining me, and I'll look forward to seeing you back soon. Cheers.